messing around with a few things. Actually, well, let's see what's going on here. It is Friday, May 25th. We're running a little late today. It's the middle of the afternoon now because I had a really exciting morning. I'll tell you about it now. No, yes I will. If I can stop, I'm going to get all choked up. Visiting with an old friend all morning, Richard Hoover, over at the Santa Cruz Guitar Company. Had a blast talking about some things, strings, and what else? Oh, I had him look at my guitar. I said, hey, you know, this feels like it's getting a little hard to play. He says, oh yeah, we got to work on this. So leave it with me. I decided not to just yet. But it was really fun to bring it out and hear it again, especially with some new Santa Cruz strings on it. So I guess I'm going to talk about the strings first. We'll get some of this interview up next week, I think. It ended up being much longer than I thought. But my take on the Santa Cruz strings right now is that they're 2 weeks old, and they sound like they're just a couple days old. And Richard told me that they've got some process. These are not coated strings, but there's some alloy that stands up to skin chemicals better. Anyway, so yeah, my report on them is way worth it. And speaking of which, I guess I'll talk about, I had this at the bottom of my list, but we're going to go through my list upside down today, I guess. And that is our survey. Really want to thank people. We sent it out in the email and announced it on the forum because, and like I mentioned in another place, coincidental that the thread about what's going on with the rebuild came up today, or a couple days ago now, because this is now, the wheels are finally turning and we're ready to, well, anyway, that doesn't mean it's going to be next week, but it means that it's getting heavily addressed. So anyway, but yeah, and we're giving away 50 sets of strings to creative answers to one of the survey questions. So follow the thread of the survey if you haven't seen it yet, although you probably got something in the email that will take you to it as well. Let's see, I think that's all I want to talk about with Santa Cruz. Next we'll get that video up of Richard and me a little bit later. I'm working on a couple of new pieces, and I'm gonna stumble through something here. This will be today's mystery song. Oh man, see, I can't even piece it together yet. Must be there, right? I gotta look at it now. Oh man. It's gonna be ugly. Oh, this is gonna be an ugly one too. How's that going to work? Impossible. How are we going to do that one? Maybe this? Yeah. Ooh, that'll work. Okay, well, anyway, that's that. I've been looking at that for about half a day, and not sure anything's going to come of it, but hopefully you recognize it. Pretty famous jazz tune. 12-bar blues, believe it or not. Doesn't sound anything like it, huh? Speaking of what songs we had this week, wait, I had something else I was going to talk about. The Beatles, we're into the end of May, and so the sale on Beatles tunes is just about wrapping up. I really want to thank everybody that picked those up. We're going to run something similar next month. So in June, we're going to have another artist with everything will be like less than half price. So we kind of like this idea. And let's see, what did we have new this week? We had Bon Jovi, Max, Living on a Prayer. That was pretty cool. I finally got the Neil Young thing. I mean the Neil Diamond thing. Why am I thinking of Neil Young? I don't know. my students are working on this one. Well, anyway, what was I talking about? Neil Diamond. He came back on the radar. I've been thinking about doing some Neil Diamond songs, and then just last week, I think, yeah, I checked back to the old recommend a lesson list, which is still functional, and I've been going through it and saw that we had 3 requests for Neil Diamond songs. I thought, oh man, I didn't do any of those yet? So, Song Blues seemed like a cool one. Nice little piano intro to it and all. And the recommend a lesson list is actually still working. So if anybody has, you know, I see there are still requests coming up there, and I went through it and started putting little target marks on some of the songs that have become lessons now, and there are, I think, are close to, I think I came up with like 475 of the maybe 2,000 on there. So anyway, as part of my future lessons, I'm going to get back to looking at that thing and complying to the requests. So that's how Neil Diamond came up this week. Vanessa had a cool lesson on Faith Hill, Breathe, that you have probably barely had time to see, but it's happening there. And then Kevin's lesson, the fly on the wall for this week, was Kevin playing Peaceful Easy Feelin'. There's some other parts of that lesson I might put back up because we did some really interesting things this week with him. But the idea of moving a song up a little bit, if it's too high, take it up a little bit and sing it down an octave, or maybe then take it up even a little bit more. Now some songs don't transpose very well because they're finger picking or something like that. Like playing Blackbird in a different key is really not going to work, and Blackbird's a good example of one you can't really even capo to get it into a slightly different key. It could be done in a different key. We could move it to C somehow, but it wouldn't be the same. E. We could move it to E. Okay, wait. No sidetrack. I got enough sidetracks I want to get to today. So anyway, that you know, is a logical thing. Or I mean, I hope that helped out. And I really appreciated the comments of people saying, "Hey, I really like these fly on the wall lessons," because that, you know, Phil, I think it was Mark, that said, you know, feels like I'm right there with you. And I'm really fortunate that I've got a handful of students that having the camera running doesn't faze them. Phases me sometimes. I think I could try to play something right now and just totally botch it. I had this nailed yesterday. Too fast. Back. I think it's almost ready. Okay, I spoke too soon. That's what it sounded like yesterday. That's what I mean. It's getting there. It's really tiring though. Every time I play that, that's Sylvia, of course, by Focus again. Every time I play it, my hand, I go into cramps. A lot of bars. You probably noticed that. Man, it's killer. That was the problem. I tried playing that on my Santa Cruz guitar just a little while ago. I was going to do this whole news on Santa Cruz, and after Richard and I were talking about it, he says, you know, we got to adjust the neck, and we got to do this and that, and fix up your bridge, and then maybe make a new bridge, maybe. Anyhow, and so I thought, it doesn't seem that bad. And then I tried to play a little bit of that on it. I thought, no, don't bother. Anyway, I think that is about all. Oh, yeah, I did want to. I had a fun time. I want to take you through one more little escapade here, because a couple of years ago I shot quick takes of a couple Pat Metheny songs. What is it? There it is. That was one of them. That was James. And the story on Sylvia is, many years ago I started working on it, and I thought I was starting to have it down. I was playing it in the key of F, and because that's where the original was, and it was just so hard, it was ridiculous. And so I kind of just let it fall by the wayside. And about a year ago, or about 6 months ago, I was really regretting that I had let that one slip, because I put a lot of time into it. And as I mentioned back a while ago when I talked about Sylvia, ran into a video of Jan Ackerman playing it, messing around with it. Again, he was just, I don't think it was well worked out, but he was just toying with it. And he did it in D, and the lights went on, and I thought, oh, that's the key it works in on the acoustic guitar with all those chords. So it also made me think about songs that I, at one point, had taken pretty far, but didn't really ever complete them to where I wanted to do a lesson on them or even an acoustic snapshot. And another Pat Metheny one, Last Train Home, was in that league. And part of it is, with those songs, I come up with like a way to play the melody and the harmony, the chords, at the same time, but then have to like elaborate on it, make either, come up with a solo or a improvised part or something like that. And so, oh boy, I'm not sure this is going to work without a nail fix, but we'll see. So I started thinking about The Last Train Home, a nice little sneaky intro, and I thought, well, maybe I'll try playing the melody in a different octave, just to add a little variety to it and not just have it play one time through. So, had fun sort of resurrecting this. So here's the condition of Last Train Home so far. octave. So the first thing I'm going to do is play that little vamp an octave higher. This little part here, it's an A and then E with A in the bass. So we have this, an F sharp minor, and F sharp and E with F sharp in the bass. One more time on that. But now I'm not really sure where I'm going. This is going to be an experiment. Let's see. Okay, that worked. Oh, that worked too. It's got to be D major 7 way up the neck. There we go. Uh-oh. Maybe something like, there we go, D in the bass. Ah, that's it. I think I'm making progress with this. The idea of taking it up an octave looks like it's going to work. Same way the song started, it needs to end with the train fading out of sight and mind. Anyway, that is it for the last Friday in May. And that's just want to let you know a little bit about what the heck I've been doing, because it's been a fun week getting back to playing the guitar more. I hope everybody else is having as much fun playing and finding interesting things to do. That is it for May.